The industry is going to grow from about $3 trillion conservatively to 10 to 20 trillion, according to a lot of different industry insiders like Citigroup and Chase and others over the next 10 years.
Oh, what's up, Ada Gang? Welcome into Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. My name's Fareed. As a part of today's video, diving into Cardano, just looking at the ecosystem broadly speaking, we've got some nice clips coming in from Charles Hoskinson speaking at an event, most recently talking about just the entire growth, not just for Cardano, but for the entire blockchain and crypto industry. We've got updates coming in from Anson's, updates coming in from Emurgo, and then towards the end of today's video, we've got some pretty nice content coming in here from Frederick Agoric, the head of the Cardano Foundation, landing in the UAE to talk with Circle about Cardano integrations for USDC, as well as just bringing on board support for Cardano native assets. Now, before we go any further, if it's your first time stopping by the channel, my goal is to help you find your footing here within the Cardano and Bitcoin ecosystems. If you appreciate content just like this, please smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. Now, I'm also a stake pool operator here within the ecosystem. And if you'd like to consider extending your support for the channel, please consider delegating with the Dapp Central stake pools, both of them sharing the ticker DAPP. Without any further ado, let's jump right on in here. And the first thing I want to break down is a clip coming in here from Charles. Shout out to the Angry Crypto Show for getting some of these nice clips and nice snippets here. But this basically breaks down the fact that Charles believes that the entire blockchain and crypto space, of course, led by Bitcoin, will balloon from the $3 trillion market cap that we are at right now to anywhere around 10 to 20 trillion dollars. So that's a nice 3 to potentially 6 or 7x here, as we're expecting for big banks in industries like Citigroup and Chase to jump into the space, taking advantage of IP for real estate, taking a look at tokenized securities, RWAs. And this is something that I've mentioned in times past. We've now got a pro crypto president in Donald Trump. We've seen him sign a recent executive order in support of crypto. We've seen traditional finance really just waiting for regulatory clarity. And hopefully within the next 5 to 6 months, the working group that Trump has basically put out will be providing him with guidance as to how to better lay a foundation for regulatory compliance, especially for traditional finance. So without any further ado, let's just quickly play this clip here, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into the next piece of content for today's update.
The industry is going to grow from about $3 trillion conservatively to 10 to 20 trillion, according to a lot of different industry insiders like Citigroup and Chase and others over the next 10 years, principally because the next value flow is going to be things like intellectual property, real estate, tokenized securities, all kinds of things like that. The challenge in our industry is we don't have good standards.
So Charles mentions that market cap taking 5 to 10 years. And his big piece there is the fact that we don't have the standards. And so taking a look at a network like Cardano, where we've got brand new SIPs like SIP number 113, which aims to standardize tokenizing securities and real world assets here on chain, are exactly what we're going to need. Now, another key thing to keep in mind here is that we don't just need standards within Cardano, we need standards across the entire blockchain industry, just flat out. Again, when you take a look at a network like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Sui, Cardano, I mean, the way that we all interact is almost sort of in a siloed fashion that, yes, while the Cardano community might understand what's going on here, a lot of us have no clue what's going on in Sui or any other networks. And if we want to get broad adoption, we're going to need to allow for people to jump in and out of different blockchains without having too much hassle. And so I think we just need standardization, just like Charles has said, but not just within one ecosystem, across all the different blockchains, to make sure that anytime that somebody's going to be building, that it's going to adhere to a standard that big banks, big TradFi companies, and just big entities can really all adopt seamlessly, giving them the ability to choose or to at least jump between chain to chain without too much friction. So that's one piece I wanted to just break down there. Let me know what you guys think down below. As always, I appreciate the comments and engagement. Jumping into the next piece here, I want to break down the fact that the Essential Cardano 360 episode for the month of January has just gone live here. And so this breaks down, of course, governance, deployment upgrade, talks about Intersect, It also even talks about the future for Cardano here, breaking down some updates for Ouroboros Paris and Ouroboros Laos, which aim to increase throughput here in the ecosystem. And then, of course, we hear from a couple of different projects here within the ecosystem, which also include Fluid Tokens and their CTO and CEO, which are Matteo Capola and Raul Rosa. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. I'll leave the link to that down below as always. The next thing I want to briefly highlight here is the fact that we've now got Lace version 1.19, which is officially gone live, bringing along the Dapp Explorer. So Charles actually just broke this down in another video, but imagine a wallet where you can jump in there and then there's sort of this Dapp store or this Dapp view where you can select to quickly connect to any of the biggest protocols here on Cardano. That has just gone live. It's crazy. I remember when this was demoed about 2 years ago by Alex, who's now left the team at Lace. This was back in Austin, Texas at Consensus 2022 or 2023, I forget. But that was a concept back then, and it's now officially live here. So if you haven't already migrated your Nami wallet to the Lace wallet, the next time you jump into Nami, you will be forced to upgrade, given the fact that we've now crossed over into full decentralized governance with deployment upgrade taking place. But it states here that you're now able to discover and connect with your favorite decentralized protocols directly within Lace. This also simplifies the interaction with the blockchain ecosystem, providing a streamlined user experience. Now, the Dapp Explorer is powered by Dapp Radar, with Dapp sorted by popularity based off of unique active wallets. And if you want to potentially list your Dapp on the Dapp store, they've got the link left down there. In terms of performance upgrades, they've made sure to fix a couple of things here when it comes to cached chain history and UTXO requests. And then they've also made some quick updates here to just have a more responsive user interface. Now, as we get ready to wrap up updates here for Lace, we've got another snippet here, again, coming in from the Angry Crypto Show, talking about how Lace aims to now integrate or at least incorporate Bitcoin, and then also launching on Firefox, which is a separate browser outside of Chrome, and Brave, which are currently both supported on. So again, I'm going to play this brief clip here, and then we're going to keep the conversation rolling.
Lace is moving very quickly. We've done several releases already in the last few weeks. Firefox support is coming. Bitcoin support is coming very quickly. So February is going to be a very interesting month for Lace. A lot of nice stuff there.
So if you guys aren't aware, IOG actually bought out the Nami wallet, and they've now again transitioned the user base from Nami over into Lace. Now, if you've also missed it, IOG just released a 2025 Cardano roadmap with a Bitcoin integration or Bitcoin DeFi on Cardano being a key focus for this year of 2025. And so it seems that with Lace, that could be the door or the portal, right, for the Bitcoin community coming into Cardano. And then, of course, with Google Chrome being by far the biggest and most used browser base, now them expanding into Firefox also gives them an additional edge. So I'm going to be excited to see exactly how they go about being multi-chain. But this reminds me of the Tokyo Pay wallet, which again has started and was sort of born within Cardano. And they've also expanded to support Bitcoin and Bitcoin native assets. So again, really bullish news there when it comes to integrations and upgrades for Lace. The next piece I want to jump into is coming in from the USDA team. I broke down in a prior update the fact that they had officially minted USDA on chain. Again, a brand new fiat-backed stablecoin. In terms of when it's going to be publicly accessible, they haven't confirmed any dates just yet, but they also released a video of how to actually mint the token. So now we've got the opposite, a brief video breaking down how to burn USDA. So I'm going to quickly go ahead and play this here. And again, it's a relatively simple process, but imagine, you already hold USDA and you want to go ahead and get rid of that, or at least cash that out for a dollar equivalent. You'll be able to do that there through their Anzins portal, which of course you can log in here. You'll have your simple two-factor authentication. From the top, you can choose to exchange, connect your wallet holding the USDA, which right now they're using Yoroi. Once their wallet is connected, we can see their USDA balance and their ADA balance. And then they're now selecting exactly how much they want to exchange. And we can now see that their USD transfer has been triggered. Now, one thing to keep in mind here is, will this be tied to a bank account? I think if so, it's going to give it that much more utility, because again, you'll now be able to seamlessly put your fiat directly into your bank account, mint using that fiat using their mint portal, and then you can use your USDA for DeFi, etc. And then whenever you're done, you can, on the same exact platform, swap that USDA back into USD, which is then tied, or which could then potentially be sent right back to the bank account that you on-ramped with. And so I know that with USDM, that will be a thing. And so again, I assume that will be the same case here for USDA. And of course, we haven't gotten any official launch dates just yet. And we aren't officially confirmed, or we haven't yet confirmed how much liquidity they'll be launching with. Now, we've heard and we've had rumors about anywhere between $7 million to $10 million. But again, we haven't had any official confirmation since their official mint of USDA on chain, which took place about a couple of days ago. Now, moving right on over, a pretty big piece of content that I missed here from Emurgo, where they've mentioned that they're pleased to welcome in Agoric into the Cardano ecosystem. And the fact that through this particular collaboration, they'll aim to connect Agoric with key and the biggest projects in the ecosystem, empowering blockchain developers to build across multiple chains and to be more interoperable using Agoric's orchestration. Now, it states that their orchestration feature supports multi-block execution and native asynchronous functionality to redefine Web3 development. So looking here at their async and multi-block feature, it states that they support a long-lived process that operates across multiple or different blockchains without immediate execution in the same block. They also provide timers to enable autonomous future actions. And then, of course, from an interoperability standpoint, they've got native IBC and Axelar GMP support. So IBC coming in from the Cosmos ecosystem, which we've already seen implemented on Cardano, which gives us access to their entire ecosystem. And then Axelar also acting sort of as a middleman or a bridging platform or bridging protocol, allowing for Cardano to be that much more interoperable. So that's a really nice piece of content there that I want to highlight. As we get ready to wrap up today's update, we've got Frederick Regard, who's just landed in the UAE to engage with local and global exchanges in order to discuss Cardano native assets and Cardano. And he breaks down the fact that this is all on the heels of him also meeting with other exchanges at the recent event with the WEF taking place in Davos. And he states here that this particular conversation will be to talk about Circle's perspective on a strategic fit, or rather a lack of a strategic fit within Cardano. And so if there's a lack of a strategic fit, I'd love to hear as to why and the reasoning behind it. This continues to be by far one of the biggest split decisions here in the ecosystem. A lot of people, especially projects, stating, yes, we want USDT and USDC support. And then we've got other community members being vocal about the fact that it's not going to change anything. And then if you look at other networks, for example, like Algorand, which did end up getting USDC support, that didn't really make a big difference for them. And so I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, but it is good to see that the CF is at least listening. They're trying to do their best. Now, does something come out of this? Again, I'm not going to hold my breath. We've heard a lot of different things about, the tech here in Cardano being hard to work with. But then we've also heard about the financial perspective that Circle not only charges a initial deployment fee, but there's going to be a reoccurring fee every year after they're deployed or after they deploy, if they choose to do so in Cardano. And the fact that that could potentially give them more leverage here in the ecosystem. Now, some people have been vocal instead and said, hey, we'd much rather just take funds from the Cardano treasury and use that to boost homegrown stablecoins like USDA and USDM. But I'd love to hear what you think. Now, I do also want to break down the fact that the foundation has been a little bit more transparent, and they've now started hosting X Spaces basically every couple of weeks or so in order to highlight what's been going on here in the community. So if you want to find out more, right, then please make sure to go ahead and check this out. In closing, I want to just quickly break down one new thing here. And this is coming in here from the CTO of the Cardano Foundation, also known as Giorgio Zanetti, who states the technical capabilities for listing Cardano native assets on exchanges are there. Exchanges are all open to new asset listings, and potential demand and volume must also be present. And so I've broken this down before. SNEC leading the way. They've opened up the door here, being listed on Kraken. And if they've been able to be listed, what else is preventing other Cardano native assets from being listed? So I think that what Giorgio has just mentioned sort of backs up and confirms what I've said. And it seems like it's not necessarily a technical issue, but it's more or less a volume issue. We need these exchanges to know that when they list Cardano native assets, that people will come to their platform and trade them. We saw this a clear example with the Trump meme coin. Trump's meme coin, not even 48 hours after being created, was listed on Coinbase. Why do you think that is? It's not because it has utility. It's because it's going to bring more users to Coinbase. And so similarly with SNEC, if that's going to bring more people over into the Kraken ecosystem, of course, Kraken has a reason or a benefit or an advantage as to why they'd want to list it there. And so very similarly with any other Cardano native asset that wants to be listed on Binance, that wants to be listed on Coinbase, KuCoin, Kraken, MEXC, they just have to bring the volume, right, to those exchanges. And I promise you, those exchanges will take it upon themselves if they see the volume and the activity, right, to actually go ahead and list those assets proactively. I think that's the biggest thing there, is that we just have to show them that there is demand for Cardano native assets. Now, the very last thing I want to just briefly touch on here is the fact that there is this parody account. I want to be very clear here. This is not the official Frederick Agard account, who's been calling Charles out here with a recent burn of quite a hefty amount of meme coin that was floating around and that was actually given to him. But in addition to that, this particular account criticizes Charles here and some of the key corners of Cardano's governance and Cardano's interim constitution. So I'm going to break this down in a separate video, but this parody account breaks down a couple of potential holes within the constitution. Again, for the sake of time, I don't want to dive into it now, but I will definitely separate that out in another video. As we get ready to close out today's video, I want to just end off here by highlighting the state of the current vote for Cardano's interim constitution to be ratified on chain, where we've now got over 1 billion ADA coming in here, representing 32% of the total DREP stake, which is now voted yes or in favor of ratifying that constitution. Of course, I'll keep you guys updated as we cross over that 75% threshold. That will bring me here to the end for today's video, breaking down updates here coming in from Charles, Lace. We've got updates coming in from Emurgo, and then of course, the Cardano Foundation or Frederick Agard right now in the UAE talking with Circle about a potential listing for USDC, and then of course integrations for Cardano native assets. That will do it here for this update. As always, if you found this to be helpful, if you've learned anything along the way, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.